Really, honestly. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, guys? Appreciate y'all coming out. Tin Roof. We are live here on location in the Senate. For those that are tuned in digitally, we got a new setup working with the fantastic sound crew at Tin Roof. So let me know how we sound, please. We are working through the MacBook here. If you're tuned in digitally, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, I see Justin, I see Phil. Let me know how we're sounding. Please do. Let me know how we're sounding. If we're too loud, if we're too quiet, how's the quality? I know obviously the first two shows we've been out here, we've been going just off of the MacBook microphone, which has been okay, but we're always looking to sharpen and enhance. Phil says sounds good. Sean O'Brien sounds better. I think we're good. My audience would tell you if it sounded like shit too. They're pretty brutal. So they're pretty brutal. So anyways, appreciate y'all coming out. We got a packed crowd, man. Obviously, people heard we were talking to an offensive lineman tonight, and I guess they decided they had better things to do. I actually told them Savell wouldn't be here till 6 o'clock, so I think that's why, John, they're not here yet. But no, either way, appreciate Gene coming out all the way from Greenville, South Carolina, ripping shots, very on brand. We got a lot to get into, though. Again, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. My guy rolling back in. Yeah, like I said, we're talking everything South Carolina football. Obviously, fall camp just over a week away. Of course, we can talk Texas OU. We can talk a lot of chatter on Gamecock Twitter today about barbecue and coleslaw. There's a lot of chatter today about the ACC and should South Carolina move conferences. I've been very surprised at some of these media outlets, how bold they are to pick a side, I guess, or even suggest that the Gamecocks should move out of the SEC. But either way, guys, again, appreciate y'all tuning in. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Taking your questions, comments, calls. First things first, let's thank Tin Roof, obviously, for having us out yet again. Appreciate you guys rocking with us in the preseason. Obviously, I woke up this morning, obviously going throughout today, and I was like, this is one of the most preseason feeling Wednesdays we've had in quite a while, with truly a dead week. Obviously, Shane Beamer is touring in his welcome home tour. He's in Charlotte tonight. We were out there on Monday, had a fantastic time. Coach Beamer speaking to media, speaking to the Gamecocks fan base as well. And it was incredible to hear from Coach Beamer, Coach Martin, Eric Kimry, new soccer coach Tony Annan, the new volleyball coach, and new swimming and diving coach. Really, really cool stuff. So obviously Shane Beamer making the rounds. Recruiting will pick back up this weekend. But fall camp, players reporting 1 week from today, and actual fall camp starting next Friday. So right now, we have nothing going on in regards to on the field. The guys are working out right now, but nothing else really is happening at this moment. But again, appreciate y'all being interactive, obviously, rocking with us, rocking with everything we do, the content, everything else. Obviously, like I said, we got a great lineup of guests. We got former Gamecocks offensive lineman John Strickland, who played on some pretty damn good football teams himself. And then I think Savell Newton is supposed to join us, TBD. But, yeah, we got some great guests and a great lineup tonight and a lot to get into. And the questions are rolling in. J2469 says, move out of the SEC. Bad idea if I've ever heard one, in my opinion, just saying. Yeah, I agree. Also, by the way, before we really, really dive into it and get going, $10 wing special, $3 drafts. Be sure to partake. The wings are incredible. The food here is really, really good. I actually had somebody text me tonight and say, does Tin Roof serve food? I'm like, you have no idea then how good the food is at this location, at this spot. People think of Tin Roof and they think drinks specifically. I'm telling you guys, the food is really, really, really good. So be sure to partake. $10 wing special, $3 drafts. But yeah, the idea of South Carolina leaving the SEC, it's just, is it a fun argument for banter and debate? And because it's July the 28th and we have really nothing else to talk about, is it fun to talk about and discuss and kind of envision, would South Carolina ever go back to the ACC or leave the SEC in any capacity? Maybe so, but it's a silly conversation in the sense that it will never happen. South Carolina would never be stupid enough to cut their nose off, spite their face. And the almighty dollar speaks, man. Whether we like it or not, amateurism is dissolving by the second, and it really all comes down to money. It really does. Also, I'll tell you this, and this is something I think nobody else has really brought up in regards to why South Carolina would not do it, but let's call it what it is. I don't think that is a look that you could ever recover from, being known forever as the team that, when Big Bad Texas and Oklahoma decided to to join the SEC, you just dipped out, right? You just dipped out. You decided it was too tough, and you're going to go to a weaker conference and try to win there. I mean, what would that say about Gamecocks football? What would that say about the University of South Carolina? What would that say about the program? I just don't see it happening. I don't see any way that it would happen, even though I don't think it's totally out of the question to say there are points to be made. That would it be an easier path and an easier road? And I made this point over the weekend, which I don't know. Somehow I avoided people assuming that I was saying South Carolina should leave the SEC, because I wasn't. I don't think they should. But what really gets frustrating for me is we love to talk about the conference and the toughness of the schedule, and we love to beat our chest over the SEC and the conference. Well, that team in the upstate is laughing their way to the playoff every year, and it gets very frustrating for yours truly. So, whatever. I'm really not an SEC guy. I'm not a conference guy. I really don't care. I don't take a lot of pride in the conference. I really don't give a shit. I just want to go win games. So I don't care if we're beating Pittsburgh or if we're beating Kentucky or if we're beating Syracuse or if we're beating Georgia. Let's just go win. I'd love to go win a championship and go win a ring. So, but had somebody ask me today about what is South going to do now? With Texas, Oklahoma, it's inevitable. They are going to join the SEC. It's most certainly going to happen. What do you do now? And I don't think the plan changes at all. It can't. You simply have to put your head down, recruit, develop, and go win. That's it. Nothing changes. I mean, it's already tough. You've already got to beat Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. You already got to beat them all. So nothing really changed. Texas A&M, nothing really changes for you in regards to the grand scheme of things in the plan. I thought Shane Beamer did a great job of answering the question. Of course, he's not going to dive too much into it because I'm sure Coach Beamer knew. I'd have to think he knew. I mean, he was at Oklahoma. They said this has been in the works since, the last 6 months, even upwards of a year. I'm sure Coach Beamer had some sort of an idea, but he's not going to go into those details. But I can tell you what he said Monday night at the Gamecock Club event. He just simply said, hey, if, the SEC is already the toughest conference in the country, and if Texas and Oklahoma, they want to come join the SEC, then they can come get some. And that is a direct quote. They can come get some. So, I mean, that's how you have to approach it, I think. I don't think as a South Carolina fan, or obviously, as a player, you got to be excited. I'm excited to get John and Savelle's perspective on that. As a player, you've obviously got to be excited. You want to play against the best. You want to be in big-time games that matter. You just do. You want to be on that stage. You want to challenge yourself in that way. We look at it from the fan perspective of, just the challenge it will be to get to Atlanta and to win your conference and win your division. Again, how our conference is going to be set up. Is it going to be pods? Is it going to be East-West? I have no idea. I mean, that's something that, is really above my pay grade. Obviously, that's something I have no idea. They're going to have to figure out. Will it be Bama and Auburn moving to the SEC East? Will it be pods of 4 teams? Who knows? But if you're South Carolina, you simply have to put your head down, compete, recruit, develop, like I said, and then just go win. And that's it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. And what an interesting time. South Carolina having a first-year head coach and a head coach who's never been a head coach, and now he's coming into an ever-changing SEC in the landscape of college. I'm sure Shane Beamer, I don't know if he was quite ready for all of this when he got the job, of the NIL stuff hits, and then the conference isn't even the same anymore. It's kind of crazy, the changing landscape of college football, because I don't think this is just going to be a thing that impacts the SEC. I think we all agree college football is changing by the second. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you like it for college football? Do you dislike it? Because the biggest thing that we heard from people was, this is just going to kill the group of 5. And the group of 5 was already done. Let's stop pretending like Boise State and Alabama are playing for the same trophy. They're not. Coastal Carolina is not playing for the same trophy that LSU is. They're just not. They're not. I don't care how good they are. They're just simply not. Group of 5 needs their own playoff. We could spend this entire 2 hours talking about why the group of 5 needs their own playoff. But no, it's interesting. And what a challenge it is for these coaches, and what a challenge it is for not just every program in the SEC, but you start thinking of programs, again, like South Carolina. I think of like Mississippi State. I think of Ole Miss. I think of, even Auburn right now. I think of Kentucky. I think of Mizzou. Those programs who, this season and for seasons to come, it'll be the trajectory of their program. Are they going up? Are they going down? Are they improving? Are they getting closer or farther away from going to Atlanta? And it's one of those things. You add Texas, you add Oklahoma, if you don't have the right guy in charge, you can slowly but surely, I think, slip into the abyss of the SEC, and that is the SEC hierarchy if you will. Like a Vanderbilt, obviously, we know where they're going to be, but it's certainly the college football landscape is ever changing. Again, is it going to be positive? Is it going to be a negative for college football? Who knows? But it'll be really interesting to see. Again, Texas, Oklahoma joining probably, 2025. I think it's cool for the other sports, too. Everybody just talks football, but, I mean, baseball is going to be incredible. We already played We already played them last year. We play Texas next year at Founders Park. I mean, that's going to be awesome. Basketball, certainly it's going to improve the conference. So there's a lot that's going to come from this for sure. Again, 843-790-3377, guys, taking your questions. If you want to call or if you want to text in, if you're at Tin Roof, text that number, the 843-790-3377 number, guys. We can also talk fall camp if you want, because we will not be out here. We will not be out here next week. I will actually be in Missouri next week. My brother's graduating from basic training from the Army. So we'll be out in Missouri for the entire week. Should be a fun trip, and then we'll be back the following week. And by the time we come back to Tin Roof, fall camp will be in full swing. So going to be a really good time. Somebody knows about fall camp. I'm going to go ahead and bring him to the stage. John Strickland, former Gamecocks offensive lineman. We'll get him up here. Played for the Gamecocks 2000 to 2004. Won a couple of pretty big games, including 2 Outback Bowls. We've had him on the show, friend of the show. He's been on a couple of times, and really excited to get him on. Pull up a chair. There you go. That mic should be hot. You should be good. Mic should be hot. Got him a cold beverage. Yep. Definitely approve of that. Whoop. Appreciate you taking the time, my friend. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Obviously, I think this is probably the third time or so we've had you on.
I think it's third time.
Once via Zoom call, once in the studio, and now once at Tin Roof. So we're just checking all the boxes. I think the next one's the tailgate. The tailgate at Seawells, which, by the way, we figured out today. I haven't announced it yet on social media, so the people in here are the first to hear. We'll be out at Seawells, spots 92 to 95. The official TSUS tailgate will be set up there very similarly how you're seeing this setup. I'm going to have the live stream going, going to be taking your questions, going to be doing like an hour-long pregame show. Times are to be determined, obviously. That's going to depend on kickoff and day of game and stuff like that, but really want to make it like a college game day for South Gunna fans. So I think it's going to be a really cool thing. Going to have guests stop by, somebody like John, others. Going to be a really, really good time. But either way, John, appreciate it, man. This is awesome. Yeah. It's always a good time. It's
always a good time.
Like I said, I feel like this is your crowd right now. See, when I was in college,
this is my bar. This is where I hang out.
This really is. See, I told
for being a regular,
right? And I told them when at the first show I did, I made the joke of, I like Tin Roof a lot. I come to Tin Roof a lot, and I don't know that I ever at any moment being in Tin Roof inebriated pictured myself up here, and I'm not sure I ever pictured talking to you in here not past probably like midnight and ripping shots at the
band
bar.
Or a DJ up here.
Right. Exactly. So I don't know that I ever pictured this, but hey, I'm really glad it's happening. Appreciate Corey and all the staff at Tin Roof and everybody else. So anyways, man, we're talking football, and since we're on the topic of fall camp, isn't it crazy? We don't do 2-a-days anymore. Like you're like one of the, when did they stop doing 2-a-days? Do you remember?
In high school, I did 4-a-days.
Yeah. See, that's that'd be suicide now. That'd be like you would get immediately fired as a coach. Oh, yeah. No chance.
You would be done.
Right. So, I mean, guys don't even do 2-a-days. You're kind of like one of the last, easy. I feel like the last breed of 2-a-day players.
So, I think my second year at South Carolina, my redshirt freshman year, after that year, they started cutting it back to where you could only do a 2-a-day every other day.
Right.
And I think by the time my senior year, it was kind of scaled all the way back.
He's like, I'm done. I can't do this. If I can't run 2-a-days, I'm out.
I mean, I wasn't mad.
Yeah. No, I wasn't mad. Yeah. No, I just can't imagine. So, we're coming up on fall camp. A week from today, the players will report. Friday, they get going. Obviously, first couple of days, I'd imagine it's going to be just helmet, no pads. And by the 4th or 5th practice, we'll get into the pads will come on. The men will separate themselves from the boys, and we'll start to really figure out about this football team through scrimmages and all their practices and getting ready for September the 4th. What people don't realize, though, and I tweeted this over the weekend, there was a screenshot of and I don't know what school it was, but it was a screenshot of like a itinerary for fall camp. And like we think of it as like we're so ready for kickoff, and I can't wait for September 4th. The players are ready because fall camp is like hell. I mean, from what I saw, it's like you wake up, you're at the facility at like 6 a.m. You are not getting home till 10. And so a lot of guys just stay there. They just stay at the facility because that's all you do for.
Yeah, I mean they basically, in the past, they take your keys so you don't have a car. You get shuttled back and
Beautiful.
forth from dorm room to the stadium.
Right.
I mean, that's all you do all day. Get up early in the morning. You get a workout in. You practice. You watch a bunch of film. You watch more film. You used to practice more, and then you don't get back to your dorms until about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. You go to bed, wake back up at 6 a.m. and rolling again.
You really find out if you love football. Because I mean, it's like you want to be an NFL football player. I mean,
I've
It's
seen
your job.
several guys quit over the years when I played. So,
Really?
Yeah, it's just it's a
I'm
tough
sure
deal, man.
Holtz is a guy who could make you quit pretty quickly if you don't love it.
You better be strong mentally, or
right.
you're not going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the guy who's told me the most Holtz stories that could just go on, Andy Boyd. If you put a mic in front of Andy Boyd, he will just, and I love Andy, obviously. Andy will go for hours. I mean, he will literally just, all day long, which is great. It's great for what I do, but it's like, just give Andy the mic and let him go. Just let him go.
Yeah, Andy loves to talk.
Yes,
so
yes, he does.
He'll tell you everything and anything you want to know.
So where are you from again, John? Where'd you come from?
Bainbridge, Georgia.
Okay, so that's right. I mean, I know we talked about this on the show, but obviously we're here and we can touch on it again. And the legend himself, Kirk Hollingsworth, in the building, 343. The count is still going, 343 straight football games. So he watched every one this guy played, home and away. But
I've known Kurt a long time.
Yeah. No, I think a good many folks have. So might have to get Kirk's thoughts on the barbecue and slaw conversation that took over Gamecock Twitter today. Are you a slaw guy? Do you like slaw on your barbecue sandwich?
I make the best coleslaw you ever
See,
had.
I'm not a slaw guy. I'm really not. But maybe I just haven't had good slaw. Let me say that. Maybe I haven't. My dad loves it. I've just never been into it. I don't know.
So you don't like cabbage?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not like, you know what could really go on this barbecue sandwich? Some coleslaw. Like, I've just never thought that. It's never crossed my mind.
It's just one of those things.
I don't know how much. I know you're on Twitter a little bit, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, like Gamecocks, went into just a frenzy today from our good buddy Mike Uva, who started it. Basically,
one of the barbecue. What's his name? I don't remember the name of it, but he said something about slaw, and then Mike said something. I don't know if I can do slaw on my barbecue sandwich, and then everybody started kind of
and then they said we're going to call it the Mike Uva sandwich instead of the Mike Uva.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyways, though, from the state of Georgia, why'd you choose Carolina again? Because I mean, obviously you were a pretty highly regarded prospect. I'm sure the Dogs wanted you. I mean, it was their.
Yeah, I mean, basically to me, it came down between Auburn and South Carolina, and really the only factor is that Coach Holtz was at, me growing up. I'm 39 years old, so back in the 80s, you know who Lou Holtz in Notre Dame was when I was a little kid, and Terry Bowden was the head coach at Auburn. He got let go with me going into my senior year in high school. So I was actually kind of dead set on going to Auburn just because I really liked Coach Bowden a lot. And he got let go. Tuberville comes in. Coach Holtz in South Carolina was probably recruiting me harder than any other school. Coach Spurrier was recruiting me down in Florida. So I did a few unofficial visits down to Florida, but I came up here, did an official visit. And the guys who are my best friends today, I just clicked with them when I came up here on my visit. So it was really kind of an easy decision for me.
What do you feel like Holtz's recruiting strategy was? Like, I know every coach is different.
He just keeps it real.
Yeah, he's just going to keep it 100.
He was sitting in the kitchen at my house with me and my mom and my dad, and he said the word bitching. I don't like no bitching, and he told my mom, sorry. But Luke keeps it straight up.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually reading, or I have been kind of on and off reading a book. I think it's his book or whatever, but talking about the the national championship season in Notre Dame in 1988 or 87 or whatever year it was. Was it 88? I think they won it.
Yeah, 88, I think.
Yeah, 88. So anyways, it was a book. It's a book about that, and Holtz wrote it or whatever. I'm sure he got help, but written from his perspective and talking about recruiting. And it's crazy, man, because we think of recruiting now with social media, and there's all these rankings with, we all want to argue about 24/7 and rivals and all that. But it's like him talking about recruiting in the 80s, It's just, I mean, but he still hammers that it's like it's the most important thing. If he's like, he's saying, he said in the book, it's, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, you can have great coaches, but you don't have great players, you have nothing. It don't matter how good of a coach you are, you don't have great athletes, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, the Jimmys and Joes matter. That's just the facts of life. The best guys are the best guys for a reason because they're the best guys.
Right.
And if you have those guys on the team, obviously you have the better opportunity to produce some W's on the field. Now, it's not always hand in hand. I mean, I think you could look at examples like a school like Oregon. They've been really good over the past 20 years, but they're not, you know, they're starting to get a lot more the past 5 years of like the top guys.
Right.
But they've never always been, you know, one of the top recruiting schools.
Right.
But I think if you're finishing in that top 20, I mean, you really do have a shot.
Yeah.
If you put good coaching and good players together.
Yeah, which is a really good point. I want to show you this really quickly, John, because you just bring this up, and it's going to be random. I know not everybody can see this. So the guy I most recently had on my show, his name's Brett Cianci. He does a magazine called Pick Six Previews, just another preseason magazine guy. He does a fantastic job, by the way. But I love his graphics. They're very simple, to the point, you know, whatever it might be. You know, he does a good job with the graphics. And what I've got pulled up right now is a recruiting graphic, the 10-year recruiting trend for South Carolina. And it goes all the way back to 2012. And again, you just bring up the point of recruiting. I love to hammer home this point. I talked about it last year. I've been talking about it this year. But South Carolina, the worst finish outside, we're not going to count 2021. You know,
yeah, I wouldn't count that either.
Right, you can't count.
How are you? I would either take that one out and put like whatever 2011 was in there. But.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but see, yeah, right. We get that. We're not counting that year though. South Carolina has never finished worse than 25th from, we'll say, even 2011, because we know they didn't. 2011 to 2020, floating in that 15 to 25 range. I mean, their 5-year average, even with last year included, is 28th. My point being, I'm jumping around, I know, but I don't blame fans for being really excited about this first year under Beamer. I mean, I'm trying to keep expectations realistic, and there's question marks and there's holes in this team, but I mean, those recruiting rankings would lead you to believe there are some pretty damn good football players here.
You would think we were in the top 25 every single year,
right?
Winning at least 8 games.
Yeah,
right.
110%. Yeah. And it's just
it should be.
It hadn't clicked. I mean, that's
be.
Yeah. And there's a reason. There's a new era beginning. Again, going back to you, Outback Bowls. I know we've talked about it a lot. I mean, being part of those teams that snapped the, you know, I guess you were a true freshman. Streak was snapped, correct? I mean.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, beating New Mexico State.
People used to ask me, so why are you going to South Carolina? They were 0-11 last year. And I'm like, man, you know, it's since growing up as a kid, I want to play in the SEC. And then you got a guy like Lou Holtz in there who, you know, you just know if you're a football person, you know who he is. And he just said the right things to me, and I felt good about the program and liked the guys. And that kind of made me make my mind to come up to South Carolina. But, yeah, the 2000 season was it's probably my funnest year of my life.
Really?
The 2000 year. 2000 fall and then 2001 spring. And 2001 spring, I had a little too much fun. And this is no lie. So I used to go out with Brewer during the spring. You know, Brewer won the MVP.
Right.
So
big man on campus
Brewer
now.
became big man on campus. So,
right.
You know, I'm just a freshman, so I'm following Brewer out everywhere. Well, Brewer could manage it. He knew how to study when he needed to. And Brewer had like a 3.5 GPA and all this stuff his whole career. And I went out and just had fun the entire spring semester after winning that Outback Bowl.
Right.
And not so good. And Coach Holtz chewed my ass like big time.
Yeah.
So then I straightened up after that. But, yeah, that 2000 season as a true freshman was probably the funnest year of my life in college.
Was Tin Roof here in 2000? I doubt it, right?
No.
Okay. Were you like group therapy?
We were at Jungle Gyms, baby.
I have no idea.
Jungle Gyms.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's way before me, I guess.
Jungle Gyms with a mixture of Pavlovs in there.
Okay. Yeah. See, I've never been there either. I was tempted to go there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. But no, so anyways, on the field, well, I know there's plenty of stories probably off the field that I won't make you reveal. But No, dude, I mean, seriously, again, winning those, it's crazy to think, the last couple of years haven't been exactly what I think most of us wanted, but I mean, somebody like you's got to have tons of perspective, and like it could be a lot worse. Like things could, I mean, as far as like where the program was 98, 99, and then how the switch was just flipped. Like all of a sudden you go from, I mean, the greatest turnaround in college football history, literally lose 21 straight to, a team that wins back-to-back Outback Bowls. And what people forget, they beat Ohio State, or you guys beat Ohio State, and the year after the second one, they win the national championship. So they were pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts when you think about that. It's nuts.
Yeah, and we didn't just, well, I'll give them this. They came back on us in the second half of the second Outback Bowl.
Was it like 28-3 in that?
It was 28 to nothing.
28 nothing.
No, 28 to nothing at halftime, or maybe it was 21 to nothing. And we scored another touchdown, but I think at one point it was 28 nothing. They came back, tied the game up, and then Sheldon Brown picks the ball off, and my roommate Daniel Weaver kicks the game-winning field goal and squeaks over the bar by like a centimeter. Yeah.
I mean, what did it feel like for you playing the same team too? Because I mean, after you beat them the first, it's like you get them you never see that now.
I can tell you this: when we walked in, because the teams meet and then we do this luncheon breakfast thing or whatever it was, and they were just running their mouth the entire week. They're big bad Ohio State,
right?
So we were just all just like, okay, we've seen y'all's film, okay, right. We know what y'all are doing. We know what we're going to get on the field. So we actually really wasn't too worried about it. So we just let them yap, and we just went out and, what was it? What did we beat them? 24-7?
Yeah, it was a pretty dominating. It was pretty dominating performance for sure.
Yeah. So, and then the next year they were all quiet, which we knew we had them a little iffy. They were doubting themselves.
Right.
And we beat them again.
When you got on campus, what do you think was the biggest thing that changed? I mean, I can't imagine morale was extremely high going in the 2000 season. But I mean, there had to be an attitude. And I've talked to guys like Langston Moore about this and other guys you played with. But I mean, did you feel it when you got there? Like, I mean, I guess you probably didn't feel like you were coming into a situation like that, right? I mean, you felt like it's hey, we should be good and we should win. And
win. When I got there as a freshman and they didn't win a game the year before.
Right.
But then I just see all the talent that was on that roster.
Right. Okay.
So I'm out there on the practice field in camp with these guys, and I'm like, I mean, there's some guys out here who are for real, and a bunch of us played in the NFL. I mean, a bunch off of those teams. And but Coach Holtz, man, he was not happy about 1999.
Right.
And he made it a point that, hey, we're about to change this thing.
And I'm sure that's the only season he's had as a coach where he didn't win a game. I'd have to imagine.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's only one of his very few losing seasons, period.
Right.
As a coach.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys obviously I think it's crazy, man. Like people, especially like the newer generation Gamecock fans. And I mean, I'm only 30, so I'm not necessarily like remember too much, to be honest, about the back-to-back Outback Bowls, a little bit here and there, but people forget about that. Like I was thinking about that today. It's like, man, people just, those teams and the resiliency you had to have to come off a 98, 99 and then go through that, and you get the big win over New Mexico State and you beat Georgia week 2. Obviously, Squeaky Watson having a hell of a game, fun. 5 picks against Quincy. I mean, it
was a fun day and night. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
I've heard the party after that one was good. I've actually heard the party after that one was pretty solid. So
I actually still have my name on the goalpost sitting down at
and what? It's bar none, right?
No, I'm on that one, but the one that hangs over the bar at Henry's on the
yeah. What a hell of a
We've
spot
actually
that
taken
is.
pictures with that.
Yeah,
a bunch of us have met up there. We got them take it down. We take pictures with it.
Yeah. For sure. Hey, let's take a call. I think Phil was probably in school same time you were, so let's see what Phil wants. He's the guy that calls into my show every single day. So, all right, Phil, you're on the air. Obviously, we're talking to John Strickland, former Gamecocks offensive lineman. I was trying to remember if you were in school or not when he was there, but if you got a question for him or a general question's fine, but go fire away. So.
All right. What's up, everybody? Tin Roof. Just wanted to weigh in on the coleslaw or just slaw in general on barbecue. Now, as somebody that gave up meat many, many years ago, I can still tell you, as a proud North Carolinian, the best barbecue in the world is in Gastonia, North Carolina. Arlo's Barbecue. They have slaw. It's absolutely delicious on the barbecue. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to know Mr. Strickland's prediction for this overall score, overall win-loss record for the Gamecocks this season.
All right, Phil, I appreciate it. Appreciate the call, Phil.
All right.
Thanks, man.
So he wants to know my prediction.
I'm about to
for
say
this
you're not
season.
going to go out there and put a record out there, are you?
Yeah, probably not. I think the team's got a good chance of making it to a bowl game.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of winnable games, and I think on the roster, I mean, we lost some talent to the transfer portal and the NFL draft, but I think we got some guys on there where we could definitely make a bowl game. So I think kind of at the end of the year, we'll see where it's at, but I think this team could. How about I just not have a losing record? I think that's where it could be at. And everybody doesn't need to get all hyped up. You know, Beamer's got everybody hyped up.
Right.
That's just who he is.
Right.
I think I hope and think he's got a bright future. And I think what we've seen over the past 2 months with him, I think you can see that building. But you know, I'm not going to give my predictions live out in front of everybody. But I say we do not have a losing season. How about that?
Yeah. I do want to ask you this because I asked Perry about this, and I know you're going to have some great perspective on it as well because you went through the 02, 03, and 04 seasons and adversity. All right. It doesn't matter how many games you win or lose. Like every team goes through adversity at some point. And that's the thing I really want to see the most because we've been hearing all about the, you know, of course, the positive energy and the positive momentum. And we're in the honeymoon phase and things are great. And hey, nobody's dropped a pass. Nobody's fumbled the ball. Nobody's thrown a pick. You know, we haven't lost a game. In regards to being a college football player, being in that locker room, navigating adversity through a college football season, like what is there anything particular you look for, or what's the key to successfully navigating week after week after week, like for this football team? I guess what would you tell them per se from your perspective?
I mean, basically, you have to take each week during this season by the week, and then once that Saturday game's over, no matter if you won or lost it. You literally have to on Sunday just forget about it and move on, and that's a hard thing for a lot of people. I mean, it really is just mentally. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a fan or player or coach. I mean, it's tough to get over a loss, and it's hard to get off a high when you just won a big game, like the Auburn game last year.
Yeah,
everybody was floating on,
or the Georgia game the year before.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, we're so much better than that. You know, you just got to move on and get over it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest obstacle during the season is no matter win or lose, you just got to move on and forget that it even happened and just play it week by week. And I know that sounds like coach talk because that's what coaches say, but
it's true.
It's the God's honest truth. That's what you have to do. Right. And I think that's the biggest obstacle. And then you talk about the 2004 season, man, we really had a really good team that year, which was my senior year. I think at one point we were 4-1 or 5-1 going into the Ole Miss game right before the bye week.
I remember that. Yep.
And they caught a pass for a touchdown with like no time left to beat us, and we were beating them the entire game.
Yeah.
That was a tough pill to swallow, but we came back out after off week. We beat Arkansas, and I think we were 6-2 after that. And then we lose 3 straight. And the problem with that season is you had a lot of key players get injured that year. And I think it kind of took its toll on us at the end. And then obviously the 2004 Clemson game was just kind of a debacle.
The brawl, which we can get to more in just a second. I remember the 04 Ole Miss game. That was the game Holt subbed all the twos in or whatever, right? Like the third drive or the second drive or something like that.
I don't remember.
Well, either way, I don't know. I feel like I had that conversation with somebody. I can't remember who it was. It slipped my mind. But yes, I mean, handling adversity, man. I agree with everything you said, by the way, in regards to, I think I'm glad that there's optimism and hope and excitement again in the fan base. I would caution people, and I was talking to a good buddy of mine about this earlier today, just in regards to like my expectations for this football team And my predictions are very well documented. They're out there. I got 6-6. I feel really good about 6-6. I'm honestly surprised more people weren't upset at me for picking us to lose to Kentucky, but hey, I guess this is kind of where we're at right now. But
we play Kentucky at home.
At home, yeah, at home, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're an offensive lineman.
I
Cole
don't totally-
Kublik ranked on the best offensive line in the SEC. So
That's fine.
hopefully our D. That is one of the biggest keys of our seasons. Our D line lives up to the hype. They have to. They just have to. Bottom line.
Totally have to. You got too many playmakers or guys who are supposed to be playmakers on that
Right.
defensive line. And, you know, your defensive line makes your linebackers great in the running game. You have a really good D line, they make your linebackers great in the running game.
Right.
And I think that's what we need to see this year. We need to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, have to. Yeah, there was some. I mean, maybe it's like a no-brainer stat, but I read something. It's like South Carolina since 2016 is 13-2 in games where they record 3 or more sacks. I mean, it's just you get to the quarterback, really good things are going to happen. You're going to win a lot more than you lose if you are getting after the quarterback. It's just
you put teams in bad position when you sack a quarterback. So it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So did you play? You were guard, right?
Center.
No, center. That's right. You were center. Okay. And so that's honestly, I'm actually glad you were. That takes us into South Carolina's breaking in a new center this year. No, Eric Douglas, I think, will be taking over the center position. So Darius Hutcherson is who you lost from last year's team. But I really like this offensive line this year, John. We'll move to this year's team. I like this offensive line. 4 or 5 starters returning, over 80 career starts. First things first, I'll ask you in regards to the experience aspect of it. You played on some offensive lines with some veteran guys, and especially as you got farther in your career at Carolina, you guys have been playing together for a while. How important is that for an offensive line to have that that group of guys who's been together for so many games?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty huge. Both years I started in 03 and 04, we had about 6 or 7 guys who have all played with each other, especially going into my senior year. We had all played together in kind of a mixed up line, but it was only one guy that would actually sub in or put here or whatever. But I think gelling as an offensive line is big time. Our 03 offensive line with me, Travell,
Travell was such a good player.
You had Jabari and Chris White. They both kind of rotated in at left guard. And you have Jeff Barnes and Jonathan Alston, who kind of played at guard together. Then you had Nashawn out at right tackle. I mean, we gave up the fewest sacks in the league that year and the 4th fewest in the entire nation.
Wow.
And I think we only gave up like 10 or 11 sacks the entire year. So in the 12-game schedule, you only gave up 11 sacks in the whole year. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. So I think the offensive line is very important. I think the offensive line this year has a lot of guys with a lot of experience. And I think this offensive line has the potential to be one of the best offensive lines in the conference. I really do. But they're going to have to go out and prove it, which they proved it in the run game last year. They did not prove it in the passing game. So you got to be able to do both to help the team win. Yeah. And but I think they got a chance to be a really good offensive line.
Now, for people that don't understand that, because again, I've had you on and other the late great Del Wilkes, by the way. Shout out Del Wilkes, R.I.P. If you guys missed that. I mean, I've had Del Wilkes on. I've had yourself. I've had Chris White and Goddard and some other tons of offensive linemen. And I always give them credit because football is a very interesting sport because anybody can really talk about it. That's why it's so fun. Like, we can all just talk and debate and banter, but like, you cannot talk offensive line if you didn't play it. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably one of the reasons why nobody really talks about it. And of course, it's one of you guys are the unsung heroes of the offense, and you don't get credit for anything unless you screw up. You just, guy has a great run. Hey, the running back's awesome, or quarterback makes a great throw.
The running back, man. Oh man, did you see that 70-yard run he just made?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's so great. But did the offensive lineman just block that? Open up that whole point. Okay.
Right.
All right. We'll cheer.
Right. So exactly. So, but explain to people how that can be possible. How can you be so good in the run game, run blocking, but pass blocking is so, like, I know it's different, but I mean, how can there be such?
To be honest with you, it's different, and it's 2 different mentalities too. When you're on run game, you're all just like aggressive,
trying to pummel a guy in front of you,
right? Just put him in the dirt, Pass block is more of a finesse kind of deal, especially out of tackle. When you're out of tackle, you're more along the lines of trying to finesse one of the best athletes on the field.
Right.
And I think that's really the two differences. It's two different mindsets because on one, you're trying to move forward. On the other ones, you're backing up a little bit to keep the guy.
Which you think is a very hard thing to do. People don't give credit for that, but
Pass
shuffling
blocking,
the way,
it's
like
all hard.
Right. It's pretty hard.
It's
Yeah.
super hard.
Right.
I would, if you've never done it, especially against in a league like the SEC,
Right.
it is very tough. The defensive linemen in the SEC are some of the best athletes that play any sport. I mean, they just are. No matter if they're a big 320-pound nose guard or a 260-pound DN like Clowney who runs a 4.40. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, and you better have your head screwed on tight too, because it's a lot of mental while you're trying to punish somebody else.
Right. And you know what helps, obviously, is having a quarterback that runs a 4.4 like South kind of does this year with Luke Doty. And you obviously played when, Jenkins was there and Dondrell Pinkins and Savell Newton, who hopefully is going to make his way through those doors at some point tonight. But we will see. But either way, you had some athletic quarterbacks. And that's something I've been talking about with the offensive line going into this season is no, they were not good in pass pro last year. I mean, it's just call it for what it is. They weren't. I think they gave up 24 sacks last year, just far too many. But in their defense, I think you'll see those numbers improve drastically if for no other reason than you have a guy behind center now who can make a guy miss and get outside of the pocket, who can improvise. And I mean, with all due respect to Colin Hill, I got no beef with Colin Hill. I know some fans really don't like. I'd have no issue with Colin Hill, but even Ryan Helinski too. Those guys couldn't move. They couldn't get out of the pocket. And when you get behind the sticks and you're getting a 3rd and long, you're getting to obvious passing situations. Defense is new last year. They could just pin their ears back, and that guy's going nowhere. And your offensive line has no chance. They have no chance.
Well, it's a two-way street on it. And, I watched every game last year. So, yes, you didn't have a mobile quarterback, okay? But the offensive line has to hold blocks. But it also falls on the quarterback because you got to get rid of the football.
Right.
So it's kind of a two-way street. I ran a faster 40 time at my NFL pro day than Tom Brady did. So, I mean, seriously.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
I did. I beat him by like 0.3 of a second because I think he ran.
You should have had that on your resume.
I think he ran like a 5.4. I ran a 5.1.
God,
so
I didn't know that.
But look at that.
Right.
He just knows when to get rid of the ball.
Right.
And he plays against a good offensive line. So it's kind of a combination of both. Well, Luke is what a scrambling quarterback does, or a quarterback that can move. They can help or hurt offensive line. Okay.
Right.
So if you have not the best pass blocking O-line, it does help to have somebody back there that can scramble around, move quickly, and then get out of the pocket, make a play with his arm or his legs. But like I said, it is a two-way street.
Right.
It falls on the quarterback too. I think last year it kind of fell. It was kind of a two-way deal because the ball is just getting held too long, or maybe we just didn't have great check downs and pass plays called, or whatever the reason. So, I mean, you can't always put it on an offensive line, but yeah, I mean, they definitely need to improve in their pass block.
I can tell you were an offensive lineman because you're like you got to take responsibility. It's like, nope, we gave up a sack. It's on us. Doesn't matter. We're not gonna blame our quarterback. We're just not gonna do it. But you made a point though. Sometimes having an athletic quarterback, it can actually hurt an offensive line.
If
he's running out and it's like, I had him. Like, you're good.
Sometimes he's wanting to do too much.
He's too eager to get. Yeah, right.
And then it winds up getting him in trouble, and mostly the offensive tackle in trouble.
Right.
So
right.
It's like I said, it's a two-way street on both of that.
Yeah. Now you block for some fantastic backs when you're at Carolina. I mean, we think of Squeaky Watson, Demetrius Summers, Andrew Pinnock, Dacus Turman, Corey Boyd, of course. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on. You look at a guy like Kevin Harris, and I know Marshawn Lloyd hasn't taken a snap yet in Garnet and Black, but we've seen his film, and I mean, we've just heard from everybody what he can do, and a little bit more of a scat back, home run, outside the tackles kind of guy. Kevin Moore, that bruiser in the middle.
Kevin is a bruiser, but man.
But yeah, he's got the home run ability, and we saw it plenty last year. I mean, you think of the Ole Miss and Kentucky games, and just, I mean, I think he's the I don't want to say only, was it the second or third player in school history who's ran for multiple 200-yard games in his career? I think it's like the third, because I'm sure it was, it's third, because it was George Rogers, and then there's one other one. I don't know who the other one is, I'll be honest.
I can remember Derek Watson having a couple. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if that.
I think it was 200-yard games in the same season or something like that. So obviously Big George was one of them. So
yeah, obviously.
But when you're blocking for guys like that, and of course against South Carolina, the running game is going to be the calling card this year. And then you even talk about like Zaquandre White, what he did in the spring game, and then Rashad Amos is a guy like, I mean, they've just got backs on backs on backs. But a guy like Kevin Harris, a guy like Marshawn Lloyd, when you got backs like that, I mean, I'm sure that makes your life a lot easier as an offensive lineman.
Makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Right.
When you got backs who can read holes, break tackles. I mean, breaking tackles actually makes the offensive line look better in the stat book.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you can think back to Marcus Lattimore,
2010
Georgia
right.
game.
Right.
You know how many tackles that guy broke?
I think he broke like 40 tackles that day.
He broke so many tackles, and you would have thought our offensive line was just all world the second half,
right.
but it was a two-way street. Marcus
right.
was just breaking tackles left and right. So when you got somebody that can hit holes, read the play right, and break tackles, and then you turn the speed on, it makes it definitely makes you a better offensive line. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. When you look at Doty, I'll ask you this, because again, you play with a ton of different quarterbacks as well, and you saw quarterback transition from the great Phil Petty to, Corey Jenkins taking over, and then Dondrell Savell. As far as I think something that goes beyond, of course, his athletic ability or his throwing ability is commanding a huddle and earning the respect of your teammates. And we just saw, we've seen it firsthand of how much of a difference that can make in regards to your football team, certainly your offense. I mean, I just think back to Steven Garcia, and I know he's a guy that, he had a very interesting career off the field, but there was no doubt when he took the field, it was different. Like the guys responded differently. Like, how does, and not in that way, but how does Luke Doty, I guess, earn that respect from his team? I know it starts in practice and camp and summer, but like when you get, under the lights, September the 4th, 7 o'clock, like what are the things you want to see from the quarterback position as far as Doty, even if it goes beyond just ability in regards to playing the position?
So when it comes down, it shouldn't even matter what year you are, what age you are. You have to be, when you're playing quarterback, you have to be the voice. You have to be the voice of the offense. And I think you have to show all your guys by outworking everybody else. And I think that makes you the leader and you gain the respect. I mean, offensive linemen are always going to love their quarterbacks. I mean, that's just the way it goes. But I think that's what it is. It's having a voice, being outspoken, tell somebody when they're doing something wrong, but then pick them up, at the same time. And I think that's what makes a great leader at quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was laughing, John, because we actually got a question here from we've got our folks tuning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Appreciate everybody tuned in digitally. Again, we're out live at Tin Roof in the Vista. We got a question. Justin says, what was up with Dondrell and the no laces on his fingers when throwing the ball? That is a great question, because that was like very interesting.
So Dondrell was one of my best friends when we were coming through, because he's from Camilla, Georgia.
Yeah,
I'm from Bainbridge. We're 20 minutes apart. I actually helped recruit Dondrell once I committed. So
and he was a quarterback his whole career, right?
He didn't. Okay.
I just
in high school.
See, that was the era of everybody joking that our quarterback was like a fullback, basically. There's like Dondrell Pinkins.
Dondrell was just a big dude. Now
he was like the size of a linebacker.
Yeah,
playing quarterback.
He was a big dude. But when he was in high school going to a senior year, he was picked the Super 11. In Georgia, they have the Super 11 high school players in the state. Well, Dondrell was on the front page of the Atlantic Journal-Constitution, and it said the Thriller from Camilla, and that was his name back then. But no, Dondrell just had real big hands, man. And I'll never forget. I was at so my cousin was playing the Georgia-Florida All-Star game in high school when I was a sophomore in college, and it was at the Georgia Dome, and they were doing all these high school kids out there see who could throw the furthest pass. Well, guess who wins it as a 10th grader? Dondrell Pink. Right. He threw the ball like 76 yards in the air. So I was like, my dad was like, yeah, that's that Camilla kid. Yeah. Plays quarterback over there.
The Thriller from Camilla.
So it's funny, but Yeah, he had a huge hand. And you know what? When he started doing it, I would just try it, see how it feels. It
Not
actually
bad.
doesn't feel that bad. But
Not
I
bad.
watched him. So the scoreboard in the student section end zone.
Yeah.
I
The
watched
old
him-
scoreboard,
I
the old-
watched
yeah.
him throw the ball from the end zone over the scoreboard.
That's
There ain't many people who could even
Right.
do that.
right.
Him and Kimry and Corey Jenkins and Phil, they were all out there seeing who could do it. Dondrell was the only one that could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a cannon. He could throw the thing close to 100 yards if he got a hold of it.
Yeah, the funniest thing Kimry told me about playing quarterback at Carolina, he's like, everybody comes to college and they have, and obviously Kimry's a really good buddy of yours, good buddy of mine as well. But he was saying, he's like, everybody wants to play in the NFL and they come to college. And then, he's like, I got on campus and I saw Anthony Wright throw the ball and I was like, I think I'm going to get into coaching. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get into coaching.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Oh, we always knew Kimry's going to be a coach. We used to say it back when we were all playing together. We were like, Kimry, you're definitely going to be a coach one day because Kimry's just a football smart guy. That guy knows football than pretty much anybody I've ever met. I mean, that's just how good he is. And I was so thrilled when Coach Beamer hired him. And, Muschamp almost hired him 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, got very close. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell everybody that, but,
I mean, it's old news now, I guess, or whatever. I mean, yeah. So, you mentioned that, though, as far as, I know I went on Kimry's show and you just listen to Kimry talk. He's like a mad scientist. Talk. I mean, and dude, I went to the QB1 camp, Garcia and Perry Orth and their QB1 camp. And I'm literally sitting in there. I'm just watching Perry draw up, and he's just drawing basic coverages, cover 3, 2, cover 1. But I'm just sitting there watching. I was like, yeah, I see why I played baseball now. This sucks. It sucks. And then, and then he's talking about, and here's the other thing, Chris, you have to bank on all the other 10 guys have to, you're banking on everybody's going to do their job perfectly, right? And 99% of the time, that does not happen. So then you have to improvise. And then if it doesn't work, you get all the blame. It's like, welcome to the quarterback position. So I'm like, I already had an appreciation for being a D1 quarterback and what goes into it. But it's like, now it's like, it's not quite as simple as just, oh, throw it, he's open. It's like, no, not really.
No,
not really.
It is definitely not that at all.
No.
I mean, I hate to say a lot of people like to coach from their couch.
Right,
but
right. Like I think you just pulled a Nick Muse reference, the couch coaches.
Yeah. But I'm
fat
telling
dads and couch
you
coaches.
go out on the field with anybody playing in the SEC, and you let it literally get down on the field with them in practice or try and do what they're doing.
Yeah,
you'll see it is not easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. The farther away you get from the game, the easier it is. Well, you mentioned Beamer, obviously Kimry, and I know we had Phil call in asking about your predictions. Well, I won't ask you that, but just overall feelings. Obviously everything is going fantastic. Again, we're in the preseason, and I will say this: I think Shane Beamer has, you really couldn't have drawn up a better preseason. He even mentioned this Monday night in regards to recruiting and what they've done so far on the recruiting trail. He said, "Hey, June even maybe was better than I expected to be with 12 commitments
He's
in
won
1
the
month.
offseason.
He's won the offseason. 12 commitments in a month. It's insane. It's unheard of. I mean, I think there was a stretch of 10, 12 days. We didn't go without a commitment. Literally.
A welcome home.
I was like, I think this is a record right now. But I mean, I guess I'll just ask you again, just the overall feelings. I mean, I guess it hasn't changed for you, because I guess the last time we spoke actually on the airwaves, he had just gotten hired, or maybe it was even right before. It was during the coaching search.
It was right after Coach Tanner had the Zoom call.
Right, that's it.
With
That's
all
it. Yeah.
us right before the Missouri game.
Yeah.
And I think I came and talked to you about a week or so later.
That's right. Yes,
And,
when he had the big Zoom
and,
call.
all of us former players, I'd say 80% were all hire Beamer.
Right.
And wound up happening.
Right.
So we kind of knew we had a little bit of input, but I think he was already one of the top 3 front runners anyways. But I think Beamer's got something hot running. I think if we can pick up a few of these other big recruits, a few 4-stars, I think there's maybe one 5-star possibly player out there. But I think if he closes that out in this recruiting class, I think it's a big dub as far as the season goes.
Yeah.
Your prediction 6-6. I'm not disagreeing.
Right.
I'm not agreeing, but
Right.
I think we're somewhere in the ballpark,
Yeah.
and I think everybody should be happy if that happens. But even if it doesn't happen, I don't think you should be upset, disgruntled. He's walking into a complete
it's a bit of a rebuild. I mean, it's
shit show.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
So
and you make that point. See, that I would say, and that's a great point you make, is that we talked before he even got hired. So I'd love to get your thoughts on, has it gone as you expected or better than you expected to this point? Because it's wild. Yeah, it's wild to me how, I mean, it's July the 28th. So we'll just say it's been 7.5 months, and he's just completely flipped this thing. I mean, we are in conversations with some recruits that, coming off of a 2-8 season and coming off of 6-17, I think it is, in the last 2 years, and a brand new staff, we're in conversations with guys that we realistically probably shouldn't be in with, and it's because of the people in the building.
Yeah, I mean, Beamer's a recruiter.
Right.
We had our best recruiting classes here at South Carolina, except for one under Beamer.
Right.
The only other ones back when I played, I think, was the 2002 or 2003 recruiting class. We were ranked number 4 in the country that year.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, Beamer has had the best recruiting classes in South Carolina history, and that's what he is. He's a great recruiter, and I think he can be a great CEO. And then I think he's hired some really good coaches, young coaches, that are just foaming at the mouth to get out there and prove that they can coach in the SEC. And like I said, I think they've won the all season so far.
Yeah, I'll ask you this. I'm gonna get you out here in just a second, because I know it's we're getting on 6 o'clock. But why do you think coaches can't be as hands-on anymore? Like, why is the CEO thing more popular? I guess. I mean, I guess it's possible you could be, but we've been talking about it too, like the CEO type and let your coaches coach. But I even heard somebody, I think it was on one of the, I don't know, it was a show or college football, ESPN something, but they were talking about, you don't see nearly as many hands-on coaches anymore. Very few coaches call their own plays anymore, right? Like that's Spurrier. That's a that people just don't do that anymore. Why do you think that is? Was Holtz, was he very hands-on? I think it was, I don't know if it was you or I forget. I think I was actually, when I was at Steel Hands talking to, I met was it Jonathan Boatwright, I believe, is that his name? Or there's a couple of different, I don't know. I met a couple of guys that you played with. But they were talking about Holtz got very hands-on at the end, and that was a problem.
2004, he did.
Right.
And like I told you, the 2004 team, we were stacked with talent.
Right.
We had a really good team. Wound up going 6-5. And like I said, at one point during the season, we were 5-1, and I mean, we were rolling. And yeah, I think that did hurt a little bit.
Right.
I think I don't know. I'll tell you later, but.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, well, Beamer though, you say CEO, but you have 2 CEOs in this world, in the world of business, like I'm in.
Right.
You have the CEOs who speak publicly, do everything publicly, basically just meet with all their executives. And then you have the CEOs who's working with everybody in the company.
Right.
And I think Beamer is that way, especially if you went out to watch spring practice, you'd see it. Beamer's all over it.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how he is. I mean, he's the face, he's the brand, he's selling the product, but he's also on the inside, he's hands-on with everything.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is too, is like, as far as, he's worked so much with special teams, and he's coached different positions too, but when you're with special teams, you basically touch every part of the team. So, I mean, he's worked with all different position groups and everything else. John, again, I'm gonna get you out of here. Last thing though, Texas, Oklahoma to the SEC. I mean, just your overall thoughts. I mean, I know it's sort of just all kind of falling into our laps, and it's like, it looks like it's definitely going to happen. They're not renewing with the Big 12. And
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I knew what your answer was going to be, because as a competitor, right, you want to play teams like you just do.
Why not?
Yeah, just play the best.
Shouldn't be scared of Texas. They ain't done.
Right.
They haven't done anything.
Right. I think somebody said. I think it was a
They
stat
haven't
I
done
saw.
anything since Vince Young.
Over the last decade, I think South Carolina has actually won more games than Texas. Believe it or not.
100%.
Yeah.
So not really worried about Texas. I think OU. I think that's a tough one.
Yeah.
They've been top program.
Why do you think? I mean, I know money. That's going to be the number one answer, but Oklahoma does not need the money, do they? I mean, what? I
don't
just feel
think
like
so,
OU is they are just strolling to the playoff every year. And then does this surprise you too that Texas and Oklahoma are doing something like together Like, I could never see Carolina and Clemson being like, hey, y'all want to go together? Like, that just doesn't that feel weird? I mean, it's just.
I mean, it is different,
I don't know.
but everybody wants. It's like the saying goes, the SEC, it just means more.
Right, it just means more. Of course,
So,
of course.
They want a piece of the pie, and it'll help their school in the long run. It really will.
Right. And I mean, we know the revenue numbers.
But I think, like I was telling you though, I think it needs to be set up in pods.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be set up in 4-team pods, and you'll have 4 pods. You'll play everybody in your pod. You'll have 1 permanent, and then the other 5 games you'll have. We're probably going to go to there's no probably. We're definitely going to go to a 9-game conference schedule.
No question.
100%. And then the other 5 teams, you just kind of play randomly every year. And then that gives you a chance to actually play all the teams a lot sooner than the way we have it right now. So right now you play everybody in the East. You play 1 permanent, and then you have 1 crossover. I mean, you go play. So we'll play Auburn this year. We won't see them again for another.
Bro, as long as we can
7
get,
years.
as long as we can get Texas A&M off the schedule, I'm all for it. Can we please get Arkansas again? Please.
I would love to take Arkansas.
I'm so sick of playing A&M. I mean, it's just at this point, I don't even know if it's possible we can beat them. Although I did beat them this morning in NCAA football. For those who were watching, pretty awesome on Heisman. It was tough. It was hard.
So you got it done.
I got it done. Here's the thing. This is just a hilarious update since I'm sure you have better things to do, but we're playing the season on Heisman on the NCAA football game, right? And the guys over at College Football Revamped, they've done an incredible job. It's like a new video game, right? Updated jerseys, everything. It's crazy. Either way, though, we're playing it on Heisman. We're 5-3, which is good. I'd take a 5-3 start for Carolina this year.
I'll take 5-3.
Right. But here's how the season's gone. We have lost to East Carolina, Georgia, and Troy. But we have beaten EIU.
That doesn't make much sense.
EIU, Kentucky, Tennessee, Vandy, and A&M. So we're 4-1 in the conference, but we lost to East Carolina and Troy. Troy is by far the best team I've played. They were literally, I think, Ohio State. I mean, it was like
disguise.
They threw for, I think, like 400 yards. Insanity. Truly insanity. Anyways, we can talk about the video game stuff later. It is fun, though. It is fun.
Yeah.
Dude, we're doing the simulations in August. Those are a blast. Just let the computer duke it out, and we all just watch together. We might have to put those on. Like I saw, Tin Roof was doing they were doing the Mario Kart on the screen in here. We ought to put that up here. That'd be fun.
You could do it.
Dude, I'm telling you,
That's the projector screen.
Yeah, no, it's a fun time. NIL. I definitely want to get, as a former player, how I like it. I'm sure you like it. You know, Beamer and Martin, Frank Martin.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
You think you would have been raking in some NIL deals?
I mean, I would have been the Tin Roof sponsor.
Yeah,
Lord, man.
That's it.
No, I think it's great. It's funny. So I got money off that lawsuit for NCAA football back in the day. I guess I got that about 5 years ago because I was on the game 4 years in a row. You would have thought it was me on the game.
Yeah.
Number 74 out there and So I actually did wind up getting a check off of that, but nothing like some of these guys are going to get paid off of, man.
Right.
I think it's a good thing for them. I mean, why not? The conferences and the schools are making millions and billions of dollars.
Right.
And yes, you get a free scholarship, which is worth a good bit.
Right,
I'm
for sure.
appreciative of that. But if you can go out and be a spokesperson for a business around town or something. I mean, that's just like having a job. I mean, so what's the big deal,
Yeah. No, I agree. Do you worry about the future of college football and college sports due to the evaporation of amateurism? Because it's disintegrating by the second.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
see, it's still amateurism because they're actually not getting paid to play. They're getting getting paid to use their name and image. I mean, it's just like, any well-known person going out and getting endorsed by, Tin Roof. Tin Roof wants to use,
Which
whoever.
Tin Roof has an athlete, by the way. I forget the kid's name, but they do have an athlete they're sponsoring. I myself have not picked one up yet.
Yeah.
Had a couple of Carolina athletes DM, and we're still waiting for the first TSUS athlete. I don't know who that'll be. I'm thinking some Ride the Bus Kevin Harris shirts might need to make their way to the store, and maybe we'll get with Kevin's whoever on
There you go.
agent, which
Look
is
it
funny.
up.
There were 0 college agents in existence 7 months ago, and now everybody's an agent. So,
Yeah, there's
agent.
Yeah,
right. We'll talk to your people.
I might
for
want to
sure.
be a side time agent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing, I promise I'll get you out of here before you destroy the microphone.
Yeah.
If Twitter was around when you played, you think you'd have been a big, like, real active guy on Twitter, or you think you'd have been more of a no social media?
Yeah, I probably would have.
No social media or active?
No, active.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been active.
You've been a big.
But you know what? Back when I played, I think you had MySpace at the very end of my
the
college
top
career.
8. You're the top. Who was
Yeah.
in your top 8?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on now. Who was your number 1?
I don't remember.
Come on. Had to be like the whole O-line. Everybody on the O-line, just
yeah.
all the O-line guys.
I'm pretty sure it was like Jeff Barnes, Shane Hall.
There you go. Good answer.
Guys like Hart Turner.
Kimry.
Yeah,
I can't
Kimry.
see
I don't think Kimry was on there.
No, I don't see Kimry being a MySpace
he was too busy
guy.
coaching at Hammond. He wasn't worried about
Yeah.
MySpace at that time. Yeah, I would have been active on it. But I'll tell you what, some of the I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, we'll leave
People
it at that.
would have gotten a lot more trouble back then if that was out. You got to be careful nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, I joke with my buddies, like, dude, I mean, Michael Jordan, how thank God with his gambling. And can you imagine if like a player went out the night before a game I was out at 2 a.m. gambling in Vegas, like that, you could never get away with that.
No.
The things that they got away with, it's stuff of legends because it would never happen. Like LeBron would get ripped. And I'm not a LeBron over Jordan guy, but man, LeBron would get killed for that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you get ripped for. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Back in the off season, especially, or Saturday nights after the game, we used to go to 5 points and we getting after it. Can
Trust
you
me,
imagine, everybody with their cell phones out, film. Oh, look at the football team down here, doing this and that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, trust me, it kept going on. I hung out with Garcia, and a lot of stories that can't be shared. But John, pleasure, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Great stuff.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah. We'll definitely get you on again soon for sure, man. I want to get you back on the show before.
Savell texts me. Hold on.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I want to get you back on the show. Obviously, I don't know if before kickoff because we got a couple of weeks. We've got 38 days till kickoff, which is right around the corner. Yeah. That's fine. It's all good. We'll take questions. We'll take questions for the second hour, and hopefully, if you came to see Savell Newton, you're not too upset. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
whatever.
Savell's held up at work. He just texted
See,
me, so,
here's the thing, though. We might not be getting Savell on tonight, but if you listen to tomorrow's podcast, because it's funny, people will hit me up and like, Chris, why don't you get this guy on the show? I'm like, well, we had him on in 2018. Where were you? Right? When we had 100 followers. But tomorrow we got an interview with Connor Shaw dropping that I did way back September 2018. And I mean, I think people are going to hear it and they're just going to be shocked they haven't heard it because we literally talked about the 2013 Mizzou game. I mean, we talked about Spurrier. We talked about everything. And like, there are a few times that I've done conversations like this in interviews and had like fan moments in the sense, like fanning out, but a couple of times. And one of them was the Shaw one, and the other one was Ace Sanders. Because it's like when you are, and DJ Swearinger. So Swearinger was incredible. Because you are hearing.
Swearinger's everybody's favorite player.
Right. But when you're hearing.
he was mine.
Yeah.
He's
the GOAT.
He's
the GOAT.
Fan and no longer playing.
For me, Shaw's
DJ,
the GOAT.
I was DJ all day, baby.
See, I'm a Shaw. I'm a Shaw guy. I love Swearinger, obviously. I mean, we're splitting hairs here, but Shaw to me is everything Gamecock football is Connor Shaw. I don't know. But anyway, it's just like you're reliving the best moments in school history with the person who literally did it. It's just wild. It's wild. So you got a great interview coming tomorrow. Connor Shaw. Yeah, really, really good time. But yeah, we'll get you back on, man. I want to talk offensive line with you, obviously, this season and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully our line, we have 2,000-yard rushers. And
when the season gets close, I'll come back up here. We'll hang out some.
And maybe you'll drop your predictions then.
Yeah, we'll see.
For the people. They want to know.
For the people. Yeah.
12-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's not biased at all.
No, not at all.
All right, get off.
Actually, I keep it real.
Go, John. Go. We'll drink a beer after this. Good deal. Yeah, he's John Strickland, former Gamecocks offensive lineman. Good stuff. Again, 843-790-3377. It's 843-790-3377. I had a MySpace too, by the way. I can recall my top 8. So now you get just me. So I don't know. I guess you can leave if you want. I don't really know. Whatever. Is what it no. Seriously. 843-790-3377. Thank you to Tin Roof for having us out. Hope you guys appreciate. I know John did the new aesthetics. We have the plastic helmet from the stew. We had to bring this. I'm waiting on somebody who played at Carolina to give me a real helmet, but they haven't done it yet. So for now, we have this plastic helmet that I took from my studio. We got a good crowd out at Tin Roof tonight. The best crowd I would say we've probably had in the third week we've done this. So gets you very excited, obviously, for what's to come. With I appreciate Corey, obviously, him having the idea to get this going, and it's cool, man. It's cool as we get closer and closer to kickoff. You can start, being there Monday night at the Welcome Home Tour event. You could really start to feel like the tension in the room really start to set in regards to, you start talking ball and we start talking on field and we get off of the preseason projections and predictions and all that. And we're like, okay, we're about to kick it off. We're about to spot the ball. We're about to put the pads on. We're about to figure out what's going on. What type of team do we have? And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait. John, the people were very happy with you, by the way. If you're tuned in digitally, thank you all so much. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch for our people who cannot be here. I see a couple of good buddies of mine out in the crowd, so I appreciate y'all coming out. This is a great time. Seriously, appreciate Tin Roof having us. $10 wings, $3 drafts. Get your fill. The food here is incredible. I actually had some wings before we went live, and I'm probably going to get some more after we finish up. Let's see. I feel like we had a ton of questions roll in. Let's see. We got a comment. Doty's the guy that gives the Gamecocks the best chance to compete this year. Don't expect a 10-win season, but if you make a bowl and compete hard against Georgia and Florida, I think that is a success. And that is actually a Georgia fan commenting that. I would agree. No, I would agree. Listen, I have predicted 6-6. I think 6-6 or better is a success. Getting to a bowl game. I mean, how can you look at that as not being a successful first year for Shane Beamer, the situation he walked into it again? I think perspective, which may be my favorite word in the English language. Perspective is a great thing to have, folks. And when you have perspective with this program, is a program that won 6 combined games in the last 2 seasons, winning 6 in Beamer's first year, I think that'd be a pretty damn good year with the questions you have all about with this football team. Because there are plenty. Hey, even at quarterback, I talk about Luke Doty, and I'm a guy that's very high on Doty, and I know some people will debate they'll have the Jason Brown, Luke Doty conversation. Don't forget about Colton Gauthier. Don't forget about Connor Jordan. But I think Luke Doty is the guy, especially when you look at this offense and what you're going to want to do offensively, that does give you the best chance to win. But, yeah, he's a question mark. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was a true freshman last year, only played in 3 games. And I think people are unfairly criticizing Doty because what happened last year. And listen, he took over in a complete shitstorm. I mean, we all know those last 3 games, it was brutal. It was miserable. And, I mean, I've talked with people and people within Gamecock football, especially even the last game against Kentucky. Heck, you were hardly fielding a roster. You know what I mean? You had 45 guys travel. There was just no way you were going to compete in that one. So, yeah, really, I'm excited for Doty, though. We all know about the strengths in the running game, the offensive line. And, can you answer? You bring the helmet? Did you? Dang. See, that's what I need. I need that helmet. All right, helmet like that. Okay. Don't make promises you can't keep, bro. That's fine. We can do that. See, well, then you're the second Gamecock that's offered, because Perry Orth told me he'd let me use his black helmet on game days too. But maybe if we have Battle of the Blacks, okay, that's fine. Which that didn't sound right. That's fine. That's all good. Battle of the Black Helmets. What I meant. But no, seriously, John, you're gonna be around the bar, right? You're gonna be around the bar, right? Just hanging out. Are you about to? Okay. All right. Cool. Good deal. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Again, guys, if you have questions, 843-790-3377. The best way to get those in here is text them. You can text that number to 843-790-3377. Again, appreciate Tin Roof for having us out. This is awesome, man. This is incredible as we sit now just 38 days away from kickoff, guys. Like I said, a quick reminder, we will not be out here next week. I will be in Missouri as my brother is graduating from basic training at Fort Leatherwood, Missouri. So we will return the following week, which will be August the 11th. And we'll roll from August the 11th all the way until Corey tells me to stop doing it. We'll be live here every single Wednesday, all throughout the football season, 5 to 7. $10 wing special, $3 drafts. Make sure you tip your bartenders. They do a phenomenal job here at Tin Roof. Like I said, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Let's check Twitter, make sure nothing crazy's happened. Like I told you guys, I am not a slaw guy, and I'm certainly not going to put slaw on my barbecue sandwich. I just have never, I don't know, never been that guy. It's just never been my thing. My dad loves coleslaw. I'm not a big coleslaw guy. So, yeah, let's see. Cease and desist letter the Big 12 has sent to ESPN. Commissioner Bob Bowlesley says the ESPN has reached out to at least one of the 8 remaining Big 12 members in an attempt to convince the school to leave in wake of the Texas and OU exit. So things are just getting wacky in the Big 12, man. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. Here's the thing, though. If you don't have Texas and Oklahoma, you don't have the Big 12. You don't have the Big 12, bottom line. You just don't. Here's a fun question. Aaron Gibson, who gets the first carry of the season? Marshawn Lloyd or Kevin Harris? This one might surprise you. I think it's going to be Marshawn Lloyd. I'll put $5 on it right now for anyone who wants to debate back and forth on that. Again, 6:16 here at Tin Roof. Time flies when you're having fun. Taking your questions, comments, calls. Like I said, guys, very, very excited for tomorrow's show. We're talking special teams. Of course, we've been doing our TSUS season preview series, talk defense on Monday's show, offense on Thursdays. What's up, Dirt? Throw it in the. Hell yeah. Hey, how many days till baseball season? Too many. I'll tell you this, and Dirt will really appreciate this. So obviously I'm a baseball guy. Dirt and I, if you don't know who Dirt is, hey, if you know, you know. That's all I'll say. I'm not even going to try to describe who Dirt is. If you know, you know. If you're a Gamecocks baseball fan, you know who Throw It in the Dirt guy is. But anyways, so Dirt will appreciate this. For me, when I moved to Columbia, August 2019, that one of the things I was most looking forward to was the fact that I got to go watch scrimmages, inter squads. There is nothing better than in the middle of football season on a Tuesday afternoon having an excuse to go down to Founders Park and watch Gamecocks baseball, just scrimmage and inter squad. I don't know, call me crazy. I love it. I think it's incredible. I hated we missed out on that last year. I cannot wait until Mark Kingston releases the sorry guys, I'm getting a text here. Releases the schedule. Unfortunately, now that he's gone, I can say it. I got to find a new source because Skylar Meade was my guy, and now he's gone. So whatever. Hey, we wish Coach Meade nothing but the best, obviously. Actually, Dirt will get excited about this. I reached out to Skylar about coming on the show. He said that he's very busy right now, obviously getting acclimated with his new job, but he said that is something he would like to do. So I'm very excited to get Skylar Meade, former Gamecocks pitching coach. I mean, obviously, this is a guy, he's going to know all the ins and outs of everything going on and the run last year, this past season. And I told you guys, it's funny, Dirt and I, we see the banter and the comments on social media and Twitter and everything, but I tried to tell you guys, Skylar Meade, one of the best up-and-coming young baseball coaches in the game, and I'm not shocked at all that he got the opportunity at Troy to be their head baseball coach. Fire Mark Calby. It'll never stop being Fire Mark Calby. Also, just got a text from, I'll just say one of my guys. I would say this: do not be surprised that if there is another move within the Gamecocks baseball coaching staff, and I'll just leave it at that. That's all I can say. Yeah, don't be surprised. So I'll just tell you this, man. In the landscape of college baseball, it is really hard when you only have, 3 or 4 paid assistants, and you got some guys, they're only making money off camps, or they're only doing it because they love it. And I tell you what, I love USC, but love does not pay the bills. So if you're a coach, you get an opportunity. I love seeing the people on social media. Oh my God, Chris, what's happening with Gamecock baseball? Skylar Meade left, and this, Trip Couch left, and it's like, what's happening? Well, they do it for money. They have to make a living for their families, and Skylar Meade would be an idiot if he didn't take that head coaching job. So I know it's SEC, but I promise you, I'd have to imagine you are making more money as a head coach of a program than being the pitching coach at South Carolina. Even if you're not, the hardest head coaching job to get is that first one. Skylar Meade goes to Troy. He wins. Guess what? He gets an SEC job, and now he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars to coach college baseball. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Aaron Gibson says, oh boy, listening to you at a bar while I put final touches on my sermon for tonight. God bless. God bless you, brother. I say Harris, but I'm not a gambling man. Indeed, indeed. Who gets the first carry of the season? I say it's Marshawn Lloyd. I'll put $5 on it. Marshawn Lloyd. Let's see. Justin Langford has a message for John Strickland. He says, we appreciate your time, John, as well, when you were on the field for us because you were the leader of our offensive line. That is sweet. That's adorable. Great stuff. Again, 843-790-3377, 843-790-3377. Guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Apologies if you tuned in for Savell Newton or came out for Savell Newton. Unfortunately, Savell ran into a holdup at work. So my apologies there. I knew coming in it was kind of 50-50 with Savell, but went ahead and made the assumption that he was going to be able to make it, but got caught up at the gym. So, hey, gives you an excuse to come back out. We'll get Savell on certainly at some point. We've had Savell on the show, on the podcast 2 or 3 times. Savell, an awesome dude and always a great conversation. The thing I love about Savell, a straight shooter, doesn't sugarcoat anything. And, yeah, appreciate him. We're going to get him on. There's no doubt. Let's see. Doty run on a keeper. Yeah, that's the trick question. Doty will get the first carry of the season. No question. Yeah, Doty on the keeper. Quarterback draw to open the season. Why not? Why not? We got a great crowd out here at Tin Roof tonight. Great crowd. This is incredible. This is incredible for sure, man. Might even take a little video of this. Get it on social media. Why not? Pretty cool stuff. Appreciate y'all coming out, like I said. 843-790-3377. Everybody's doing it for the gram. For the gram. Here we go. Yep. For the gram. Love it. Love it. Love that. Let's see. But yeah, Texas OU. I mean, listen, I think I'm ready to see the impact beyond just football, by the way, from the baseball side of things. Hey, adding Texas, Oklahoma to the yearly conference slate. Will they go to pods in every sport? South Carolina already played Texas this past year. Didn't go great. They'll play them next year in Columbia. I know we're all looking forward to that. South Carolina, yeah, getting their revenge. Texas is going to be a top 5 team. I think they had like 2 of their pitchers come back that were top 5 round guys. They'll be back. So Texas will be loaded. I think I saw Baseball America, their preseason top 25. They had Texas number 1. So Texas is a pretty good ball club coming to next season. But hey, you want to play the best, especially if you're South Carolina baseball. What a tone setter that could be for your season. I think certainly when you look at, of course, we're not going to talk baseball for a bit, but way too early look at baseball. That is a series that you need to win. That is a series that could set your tone for your year. And like I said, I think getting to the Supers, I think it's probably the minimum expectation for next season. Hey, it's Carolina baseball, and the expectations are really high. And when you're in year 5 of Mark Kingston, you want to see some progress. So I think getting to the Supers, obviously the hitting has got to be much, much better. But that series against Texas, that will certainly be an early tone. And hey, if nothing else, it's going to help the hell out of your RPI, just like we saw it do this year, because South Carolina would not have been hosting if they had not played a team like Texas, even though they got swept. DGD podcast. Appreciate you tuning in digitally, my friend. This guy actually runs a Georgia podcast. So very interesting. He's tuned in, asking some questions. Says people forget the other sports outside of football, basketball are going to be a bigger deal when they join. Maybe SEC basketball. I think it's already a pretty big deal. I think everything in the SEC is a big deal. I think it's a big deal. Let's see. My guy, Gene, texted in. Just seeing this text. And I guess this was actually for John, but either way, what was it about Coach Holtz, who as a person was never as talented as any of his players, made him able to motivate guys above even their own talent? Yeah, hell of a motivator, a master motivator. Heck, he gets paid to motivate people. I'm pretty sure that's what Coach Holtz is doing these days. Hell of a motivator. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. Tiny little guy that, yeah, that's what Corey. By the way, that's what Corey Boyd called him. Corey Boyd said about Lou Holtz, I loved that little man. Called him a little man. So I mean, he was a little man for sure. Let's see. Tucker says, why was Dabo Sweeney at the Gamecock Club meeting on Monday? He definitely wasn't, because if he was, you'd have known. That was last night at the Greenville Coaches Clinic. Yeah, no. So yeah. Trust me, if Dabo Sweeney was at the Gamecock Club meeting, you would have known. I would have already said something. No, that was at the coaches' clinic. I think like coaches from all over the state, and obviously you're going to get guys like Sweeney and Beamer and both of them to speak. So they had them both out, and I thought it was actually really interesting to see them kind of coexist together and hear them talk about each other. And I think, we hate Dabo, of course. I get it, but I think you can tell already there's a lot greater of a mutual respect between Beamer and Dabo than there ever was. And again, maybe I'm drawing conclusions, but when you're Muschamp and one of your first comments to Dabo is, "Hey, I think your wife's flirting with me," that's not a good place to start. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. So anyways, but no, that was at the coaches clinic. Kimry was out there too. They're, the Gamecock Club welcome home tour. They're actually in Charlotte tonight. I got a couple buddies out there at that. They're actually in Charlotte. Clayton White's out there with them. I'll tell you this too. I liked what I heard from Frank Martin, man. I get why people like Frank Martin so much. Like, honestly, he is not that mean cuss that he is to his players in real life. He's really not. Like, he's a very cool dude, very friendly. He was very quick to tell me. I don't know if he knew who I was or not, but he was very quick to tell me we're going to be better this year. He was like, last year was a bitch. There's no other way to put it, and we're going to be a lot better this year. So, I believe him. I think we all want to see it. I think it's, as much as they lost on the roster, that they picked up a lot through the transfer portal, pretty similar to what Shane Beamer has done. So who knows, man? Who knows? I don't think any of us really know what to expect with Carolina basketball. It's I don't know. You've added Georgetown to the non-conference slate. You've added Florida State to the non-con, which they're playing them in Greenville for some reason. So maybe we can coordinate with Gene and get a watch party up there and go to the, or no, it's in Rock Hill they're playing. Rock Hill, not Greenville. Sorry. Rock Hill, they're playing Florida State. Makes no sense at all. I have no clue. Will they play at Winthrop's Coliseum? I have no idea. But you've got those two teams. And, of course, the SEC schedule actually dropped today. I know nobody wants to talk basketball, but it did drop today. You've got at home, this is Carolina basketball. This is Carolina basketball's upcoming schedule now this season. You've got at home Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, which will be a fun one, LSU, Mississippi State, Missouri, Tennessee, and Vandy. And then on the road, you have Bama, Arkansas, Auburn, Georgia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, A&M, and Vanderbilt. So, going to be an interesting year. I don't know. Not a lot of expectations, I don't think, coming off of last year. And no, hardly any. I see some head shaking. No. Yeah, I don't think there's many expectations, if any, at all. It's so funny. Anytime we're doing a live stream and somebody asks a basketball question, I'm kind of like, oh, I forgot basketball existed. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, wow, somebody actually wants to talk basketball. It's great. It's great. So, no, it'll be intriguing. It'll be interesting. Because I'm sure, I know everybody is looking at me as like, are you going to be the Fire Frank guy? Yep. Everybody's just waiting. They're waiting on that one game where we get blown out. And it's like, all right, here it comes. And I'm still not a Fire Frank guy. I'll tell you this, man. And maybe there needs to be a changing in the guard. But with that being said, I think there are deeper rooted issues with South Carolina basketball than just who the head coach is. I just question our commitment to winning in basketball. But then again, I say that, and you look at what Dawn's doing, and that just completely wipes away that theory. And it's like, okay, if we can win in women's basketball, why can't we do it in men's basketball? But I just don't know. I don't know that there is the same commitment to winning and the same push for basketball, if you will, that there even is with baseball. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I cannot read that comment. Justin Langford, we cannot read those comments on the air, my friend. No, we can't read that. But yeah, so I'm excited for what Frank's going to do. Again, we're talking football and we're 38 days away, and I know we're all really excited, but yeah. So let's see. Let me go through. There might be some people in here that did not hear the predictions for the season, which, by the way, again, if you got questions, I'd love to hear you guys' predictions. I know John can't make them. He's not quite bold enough to come up here and give game-by-game predictions for Carolina's football season. But, no, I'd love to hear what you guys think. I think expectations are very realistic for Shane Beamer's first year. I think fans have kept it fairly realistic. Dirt texts in and says 7-5 with a bowl win. I would take that in a heartbeat. I'd sign me up. And, hey, it most definitely could happen, right? I think any prediction 5-7 to 7-5 is fair with this team. Now, I will be honest with you, gun to head, if you said what's more likely, I think 5-7 is more likely than 7-5 because I think what is more likely, again, I was talking to one of my good buddies about this earlier today. When you start talking 7-5 and God forbid the 8-4s, you're banking on everything is going to go right. You are. And we know better. You know better, do you not? We know better that even if a lot of things go right, there's no way everything's going to go. Hey, when we talk about best case and worst case scenario, there's a reason it's called best case. So when I say the best case scenario is 8-4, you know what would have to happen to go 8-4? Luke Doty's the next Connor Shaw. The offensive line has taken a huge step, and they're like the 2003 offensive line for Carolina. Amarian Brown is the next Ace Sanders. The wide receivers, 3, 4, 5 guys step up, be big-time playmakers. Kevin Harris runs for 1,000. Marshawn Lloyd runs damn near for 1,000. We have the second or third or maybe best defensive line in the conference. The linebackers are improved. The secondary, every transfer we got's a great player. All those things would have to happen to go 8-4. And the odds that all of those things click and happen are not likely. So, which is fine, but it's just being realistic. So I've got 6-6. I've got Carolina beating EIU, ECU, Troy, Tennessee, Vandy, and Auburn. I've got them starting 5-2, which would be a dream start, and Tin Roof will be shaking if we start 5-2. Tin Roof will be at capacity for these, which that's what I hope. Hey, Beamer Ball shirts will be flying off the shelves. Business is booming to the moon. Yeah. Hey, give me 6-1, please. Find a way to beat Kentucky and give me 6-1. Why not? Just go beat Georgia, too. We'll just win them all. Hey, somebody has to. We might as well just win them all. So, 843-790-3377. Oh, God. Here we go. Phil says, speaking of the color scheme issues, that T-shirt does not look garnet. This shirt is garnet. Let's not even get into the banner stuff. Please, let's not do that. This shirt is very garnet, though. We've got like some pinkish lighting, I think, coming down, or purplish lighting. It's all about the lighting, Kirk. It's the lighting or the material. Yeah. All right. Well, just make the sign black. That's all you got to do. That's it. I'm just going to wear black next week then. Yep, I'm going to wear black. That's it. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about the banner. Bannergate 2021. So if you don't think Gamecock fans' voices matter on social media, Gamecocks Online tweeted with the quickness that they were getting a new banner. With the quickness. And I'll tell you this, I rode by it. It's not terrible, and it's probably something I could get over, but I shouldn't have to get over it. Like, we should just get it right. So I don't know why we can't get garnet right. Somebody texts in. Hold on. Maybe there's a number with this. Oh, okay. It is. I thought it was Gene. That's why I was like, let me make sure. Why do we always F up our stadium decorations? Yeah. I mean, hey, you're not wrong. You're honestly not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. Let's see. 843-790-3377, guys. When somebody texts you, what type of beer do you want, you be sure to respond to that DM. Cool. Okay. The banner should be one of my drawings. That's a good idea. Hey, if they need a paint job, we know who to go to. Seriously. No, you got to go with a black banner, man, because that sign above, there's just no way you can match the two. I mean, it's kind of like trying to match South Carolina's garnet baseball helmets with the garnet jerseys. Never matches. That flat, and it looks bad. I mean, I hate it. It looks bad, but it's like, what can you do? I guess you could wear black helmets. So I don't know why we can't get garnet right. I mean, the garnet that John Strickland wore versus the garnet that Blake Mitchell wore versus the garnet that Steven Garcia wore versus the garnet that Jake Bentley wore versus the garnet that we wear now. It's all different. I don't understand why. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. So, anyways, 843-790-3377, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Time is just flying by. Time's flying by. 6:35 already. So if you got any questions, comments, calls, Phil asked, where's Savell Newton? Yeah, I apologize. Savell got caught up at work. I knew there was probably a 50-50 chance. I said, hey, whatever. If you can make it, cool. If not, fine. We'll get you back out here. Obviously, Savell, a great friend of the show and a great friend of mine. But he's big time now. Personal trainer at a gym, and I guess he couldn't find anybody to cover the shift. There was somebody out there that just had to get their workout in on a Wednesday. So whatever. So be it. So be it. It's all cool. It's all cool. Let's see. Yeah. So again, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. John Gibbs, why have a sport if you're not trying to win or have the highest expectations? The Final Four run had me pumped, and I wish we could have done that more often. Yeah, I think we all do. Yeah, it has been pretty baffling, though. You haven't been able to build on the success of the Final Four. But again, I think it goes beyond just Frank Martin, man, because I've had plenty of fans tell me that, hey, we didn't do anything to promote the Final Four after we won. I mean, they raised the banner on a random Tuesday night, and, yeah, they didn't make a big deal of it. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying – I stand by what I said in regards to I think you have to have expectations. Getting to the NCAA tournament, it's got to happen this year. It just has to. Even with the losses you had in your roster, you've at least got to get close to it. You need to be on the bubble. You have to at least. But I don't know who you could go get that would be better than Martin. But, hey, I've got a buddy of mine that he is a Fire Frank Martin guy. And the point that he makes, he said, hey, do you like the way you feel with Shane Bieber, having a newfound hope and optimism and feeling great about your basketball program? And you guys know who he is. It's Cox by 90, my good buddy, which, by the way, we have a live show August 20th at Rita's on Folly Beach, which I cannot wait for that. I might be in swim trunks. I'll be totally honest. I might be coming off the beach myself. I think Dirt said he's going to be there. Rita's, Folly Beach. I've never been to Rita's. I've heard it's good. Somebody DM'd me and told me you got to get the tuna nachos. Said it's a life changer. So I said we're noted. Noted. I'll try it. I don't know. Yeah, fish and cheese. Sounds weird. Sounds kind of strange. But either way, we'll have that live show. But Cox by 90, he's a Fire Frank Martin guy. Pretty audibly, hey, Fire Frank Martin guy. And his point being, if you have a new coach and you sort of have that optimism and that excitement that you have right now with Shane Beamer, but in basketball, I mean, what type of impact could it have? And I get it. I do get it. I don't know. And it is year 10 of Frank Martin. It is. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, those welcome home events, they're awesome. They're great. And, you leave there and you just feel giddy about everything going on in your athletics department. But I told my buddy right after we left that, hey, every school and every coach is doing the same exact meeting, and they're saying the same exact. I loved what Spurrier did. I think it was 2015 or 14 when he had that fall camp. He had that. He met with the media. He said, "You ever had a head coach come up and say, oh, quarterbacks, we couldn't hit broadside of a barn. Our defensive backs have got grass stains all over their jerseys because they keep falling down, and receivers can't catch a cold. Running backs can't hold on to the ball." Nobody's saying that in the preseason. I mean, even though Holtz did constantly tell you how bad we were, I feel like that was a Holtz thing. He was, well, I just hope we don't get blown out this weekend. That was a Holtz thing. That was a Holtz thing. Spurrier, too. Spurrier's very honest, though. Hey, Spurrier, again, we had Perry up here. We had Perry up here last week, and I mean, Perry will tell you, Garcia will tell you, Beecher told me, any of them will tell you, you make a mistake, bro, Garcia will tell you, well, we're the ones that recruited you, so it's our fault. So, I mean, he make you feel awful. Make you feel about that big. Let's see. John Gibbs says, Burt's is awesome at Folly. You familiar with Burt's? Never heard of Burt's. The only thing I know on Folly is Snapper Jacks and Taco Boy. Yeah, Taco Boy. That's it. Snapper Jacks and Taco Boy. 5 Points finest. Give it up for group therapy. Look at this. Thank you, boo. Appreciate it. A for easy. Cheers. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Good call. Good call. That's why you're 5 Points finest. Absolutely. Yep. Good stuff. Woo. Yep. Jaeger bombs for days. Here we go. What? Your media member could never. The media has a golf tournament tomorrow. I guess my invite got lost in the mail. I don't know. I should have. I wanted to ask Beamer about that. Hey, Coach, heard y'all going to be at Wood Creek tomorrow. What if I might just show up. Just show up with my clubs. So, I mean, why not? Y'all ready to go? Who am I paired with? Where's Sherbert? Where's Sherbert at? I'll go play with him. I'll go play 18. So, whatever. It is what it is. No, we had a really good time, though, Monday, man. It was really cool, in all seriousness, getting to meet and shake hands with, Mike Yuba was there. Got to meet and shake hands with Colin Taylor, Rick Henry, who we had on the show. I actually met Wes Mitchell a couple weeks ago at the QB1 camp. Really cool dude. And then getting to meet the man himself, Beamer, of course. Of course, Kimry was out there. It was great to see Eric again, obviously. And I told him, too, when he signed his autograph for me, your favorite podcast guest. So I think he didn't write that, but whatever. It is what it is. So, yeah. So we had a good time, though. It was really cool. You know, Shane Beamer really reiterating everything he said so far at this point in the preseason. And how can you not be excited, man, about the future of Gamecock football? I mean, seriously, how can you not? How can you not? But, hey, I'm just glad we're not talking about, like, uniforms. I mean, this is a great time to do it. You want to talk debate uniforms? Shades of garnet, banners, preseason things? What's the I'll tell you this, Dirt would have a freaking panic attack. I have a buddy of mine. He hates the pinstripe uniforms for kind of bit. He said it's his least favorite, the Friday night pins. Wildest take in the history of takes. It's the best. It's the best uniform in college baseball. And he says it's his least favorite. I cannot fathom it. Yeah, see, Vandy gets away with it because when you win as much as they do, you can do whatever you want. But like doing uniforms like that, it just screams no tradition. It screams no tradition. It's like if Carolina ever got rid of I know there are some people that don't like the Yankee grays, which is baffling to me. Yeah, you should be happy you don't know them because I do. I do know them very well. See, Phil, who's tuned in, he's not a gray guy, not a big gray guy. I would not want gray uniforms in football to come back. The battle grays, I wasn't a huge fan. Yeah, the battle gray. I'll tell you what, though, probably the worst look we've ever had was the tail feather on the helmet. Not a fan. I don't like that. 2015 Florida, the tail feather. Sean Elliott tried to fire us up. Those are awful. Terrible. Those are like Arena League type of helmets there. Those were terrible. I'm not a big script guy either. I'm not a big script helmet guy. Really not. Right. You can wear it once every like 4 years, but outside of that, I mean, dude, I could talk some uniforms. I could talk some uniforms. Battle grays were terrible. Our Wounded Warriors in 09 weren't bad. 10s were a complete swing and miss because we couldn't even wear them because the numbers. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I was at that game because it was Garcia, Auburn. I even told Steven in person, I was like, Steven, just so you know, Steven, I defended you all the way up to the Auburn game. And after we lost that one, I was like, I can't. Nope, that's it. Yeah, well, yeah, you also can't throw like 3 picks like he did. So, whatever, against Auburn. Either way, though, whatever. That it's like every year during that run, we had one game that kept us out. One game. 11, it was Auburn. 12, it was LSU and then Florida, and then 13, that freaking Tennessee game, Marquez North. I can't believe I'm even uttering that name in this establishment, but sure enough, that was a heartbreaker. That was a heartbreaker. Yeah, that was a tough one. So, yeah, it was because that was Connor Shaw's first start, and we just back in the good old days, and we were whipping Kentucky's ass. What a time! What a time that was. Now I'm picking us to lose. Here's the funny thing. I did pick us to lose to Kentucky last year. Before last year, I had picked us to win, I think, every year. I'd never picked us to lose to Kentucky. Never. It's writing an L next to Kentucky in heavy black ink is like one of the most painful things you can do. Truly. But I look at it this way. I picked Kentucky to beat South Carolina because you know what? There really is no reason South Carolina should beat Kentucky. And that might sound crazy. Outside of the game being at home, you have South Carolina first-year head coach, questions at quarterback, hella questions at wide receiver, great running back, good offensive line, questions. Right. I get it, but that's all we have to go off of, right? So when you're making predictions, you have to go off of what you know, the knowns, right? You can't predict off of, well, I think this will happen or I hope this will happen, so I'm going to pick this. You have to kind of go off what you know. So back into your defense is a huge question mark. Then you look at Kentucky, 9th-year head coach. They already have their culture established. They were ranked the best offensive line in the conference by Cole Kublik, which I don't know why he likes Kentucky so much. I think he ranks them number 1 every year. And I'll tell you what, I've never had a tougher time scheduling somebody for a freaking interview than Cole Kublik. The guy will he'll DM you back. He'll wait a week, then he'll DM you back. It's like you just can't schedule anything with him. I don't know. But veteran offensive line, they'll be improved to the quarterback position. They have Chris Rodriguez Jr., which is one of the best running backs in the SEC. Some have ranked him again above Kevin Harris, which they're idiots, but whatever. Really, really good defense. People sleep on how good they are defensively. And, Mark Stoops, I got toasted for this last year in the preseason, but I said that Mark Stoops is everything that Will Muschamp is not, and that is he's a developer of talent. Kentucky's never out-recruited South Carolina, but, man, 6 of the last 7 years, they've just beat the shit out of us. So, what's going on? So, yeah, I got Kentucky beat Mizzou. That's week 3. That's a big game for both those teams. Week 3, I think the game is in Lexington. Yeah. And then, so that's the thing. I picked an L to Mizzou, too. I don't think Mizzou's that good. For whatever reason, I just hate that road trip to Como. I think Basilac's really good. Listen, we're going to struggle, I think, in games where teams can really throw it. Again, until Prunty steps up and shows me he's the next Stephon Gilmore and a bunch of these other guys. I know we got Marcellus Dial and Tyrese Ross and Prunty, obviously. And I think Cam Smith's going to be really good. I like Dickerson. Hopefully R.J. Roderick's improved. Please, dear God, let's hope R.J. Roderick's improved. But, realistically, man, are we going to be as bad defensively as we were last year? No, because you can't be any worse. We give up 36 points per game, 462 yards per game. You can't be any worse. So I think we will be improved, but I just think there are going to be moments where we're going to play teams that can really throw the football, and it's going to be tough. It's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and that's okay. We're recruiting guys. We're recruiting really good players right now. Keenan Nelson Jr. and these other guys. There's a reason we're signing so many guys in the secondary, but that's a until proven otherwise, the wide receiver and defensive back position, that's a position that's a deficiency. And it just is. So, until somebody steps up, it kind of is what it is right now. So, and I hope they surprise. I will tell you this. It's a great opportunity. People ask me, which assistant coach are you most excited about? And, of course, outside of my guy, Eric Kimry, of course. But the guys that I think have the greatest impact or the greatest opportunity to make a huge impact are Justin Stepp and Torian Gray, because those are the 2 biggest question marks in the entire football team. And so if one of those 2 can surprise, right, if you can find 3 or 4 guys at the wide receiver position, or you can find, some solid guys at defensive back that are consistent and at least just, be better than you were last year. All of a sudden you look, and I love both those coaches. I think anybody you talk to, I know if you talk to John, you talk to anybody around Gamecock football, you talk to Kirk, they love Justin Stepp. They love Torian Gray. The experience those guys bring. Justin Stepp's a homegrown dude, man. So I like them both. Speaking of wide receivers, my buddy Dan texted me, talk about your wide receiver depth chart. Good question, Dan. Dan and I have talked some wide receivers now. Well, when you're 6'7", you have to like the wide receiver position. That'd be kind of weird if you didn't. No. What's funny is I put together my offensive depth chart, if you will, my depth chart for offense. And it's really hard to list even the top 3. It really is. I think Amarian Brown's wide receiver 1. I think Amarian Brown is wide receiver 1. Just watching his film, his tape from Georgia Tech, I think he's a big-time ball player as far as speed, agility, athleticism. Smaller dude, very athletic, reminds me of Ace Sanders. Go watch his film. And the thing with him is this. We talk about some of these other guys and these youngsters, but the advantage of getting guys out of the transfer portal like Amarian Brown is that he's actually done it at the Power 5 level before. We're not guessing. We're not just hoping and thinking, oh, okay, well, what's he going to be? He's done it at this level. So I think Amarian Brown, I think he's your number 1 option. The question I have, does E.J. Jenkins spend more time at tight end or wide receiver? I think he'll be more of a tight end, but I think you're going to see the tight end split out wide a ton. I think that's going to be a huge, and especially when you're hurting a receiver, you're going to see Nick Muse out wide. You're going to see Jaheim Bell certainly split out wide. Eric Shaw, Jenkins, all those guys. So I'm not even going to count Jenkins in this. I think you're out. Appreciate you, John. I think Amarian Brown's wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2, again, it's hard to even list the second guy. I think you look at is Dak Joyner the second guy? Right now I think it's got to be Dak Joyner. 1, 2, 3. It's some combination of, I think, Brown's one. Then you got Joyner, you got Leggett, you got Josh Van. I know everybody's going to say, well, what about Ortre Smith? I got to be honest. I've sold my Ortre Smith stock until he can prove to me he's healthy. I'm not setting any expectations. And hey, I hope he has a 1,000-yard receiving season. But until he can prove to me he's healthy, I just have a hard time, hyping him up. And everybody's like, well, what about what he did when he was a freshman? Yeah, that was 4 years ago. 2017 was the last time Ortre Smith really made an impact. So, I mean, I want him to do well too, but let's not put these crazy expectations on the guy. Let's just, hey, first be healthy. Then we can worry about you even making a play. So I look at, again, guys like Dak Joyner, Josh Van, Leggett, Jalen Brooks is another. We need to, Jalen Brooks is your leading returning receiver. A grand total of 11 catches for 100 yards and 0 touchdowns. What a year he had. No, I mean, whatever, it is what it is. I think Shi Smith had something like 57 catches. The next 5 guys combined had like 32 catches. So, there was obviously one guy that was the center of attention, and he's no longer here. Then you look at guys like Jakari Caldwell, Rico Powers, maybe Chad Terrell. I said it after the spring game, and I'll say it again. There are a lot of guys in the receiver room. You got to find some dudes. Really? Well, that doesn't narrow it down at all. At all. Still here? Okay. 5. Oh, right. Okay. Anyways. Jab Slick says Red Bulls. Well, the last thing I need is Red Bull. Everybody's Gamecock football. Damn near every throw was to a tight end or a running back. Busta Anderson. There was a lot of that way. Use your tight ends a lot, because we all know, again, the wide 10 minutes here. Less than 10 minutes. 843-790-3377, guys. It's 843-790-3377. John Gibbs, I know your take. I'm telling you, Ortre Smith can be a beast if he stays healthy. If he's healthy. Yeah, again, that's the if. That's the if, and it's been the if for the past, 3 years or so. That's been the if. So, no, if he can be healthy, he has all the, he has all the ability. I mean, listen, all these guys are at South Carolina because they're good football players. Again, appreciate 10 Roof. Apologies for those who may have come out for Savell Newton, got caught up at work at the gym, which, hey, it happens, all good. We'll get him back on, though. Savell, a really good friend of the show, a good friend of mine, and, yeah, I might just set it up for the next time we go live from Tin Roof to have him on, which the next time, guys, will be live. We will not be live next week. I will be out of town in Missouri. My mother is graduating from basic training in Fort Leatherwood, Missouri for the Army. So we're going up there. Family Day Wednesday, graduation Thursday. But after that, man, it's full steam ahead of being in Cola. August 11th, we'll be live yet again at Tin Roof, 5 to 7. Again, $10 wing special, $3 draft. So appreciate the fine folks at Tin Roof for having us out. We got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left to take your questions, your comments, your calls, everything else. I feel like some people on the live stream may be having some issues, which it's fine. We will actually be hardwiring this bad boy starting 2 weeks from now. So if you're having lagging issues, we'll just blame the Muschamp Packers. It's all good. It is what it is. We'll just blame Muschamp for everything. So for those who don't know, whenever I do live stuff, we do anything live and the mic's messing up or the live stream, the video's messing up, my audience, we just blame the Muschamp Packers. So I think we might even put together some Muschamp Packers merch. So, hey, we blame Calvi in baseball. We'll blame Muschamp in football. Yeah. He was actually a pretty damn good coach. He was great. Yeah. But I do think, again, I was very tempted to ask Beamer Monday if we were going to throw it to the tight end. I just didn't, I wanted to be that guy, but I was like, you know what? I won't be that guy. We are going to throw to the tight end. No questions asked. We're going to throw to the tight end a lot. I think you'll see guys like Nick Muse and Jenkins be some of our top receivers. I think Jaheim about him. I think he does in life. Everybody's going to reference that Instagram picture he put up. So he'll just never live that down. I don't know. Nick's a good dude. But I'll tell you, and I reposted that picture and I thought nothing of it. And I got on Instagram about 20 minutes later. And I mean, wow, people were not happy. So it is what it is, man. I don't know. Nick's his own type of dude, his own character. Oh, you're back. Cool. Gamecock 79 says, ready to see some thunder and lightning. Yeah, let's. Oh, go. Wait after this. I'm ready. Let's let Marshawn and Kevin create their own nicknames. People were asking me like, oh, we got the bus for Kevin. What's Marshawn Lloyd's nickname? Let's let him take a snap first, right? The best nicknames come about organically. If you start putting on nicknames, that doesn't normally work out well when you try to put predetermined nicknames. So, hey, Kevin's the bus. Maybe Marshawn can be the Lambo or the Maserati or the whatever. I don't know. But something fast, something really fast. Say that. But let's save the nicknames for kickoff. By the way, stick around after this 7 to 9 open mic night. I've been hanging out at the last couple. Some talent. I'd like to see some of you up here. Why not? Gene, you want to step up? Get behind this thing? Actually, never mind. Let's not do that. No, seriously, there's some good talent out here for sure, man. It's been incredible. Kirk loves it. He loves every second. Said he's loved every act. What's your question? All right, so Haley has a question, which this is Haley, Petty Betty, 5 Points Finest. NIL, how do we feel about NIL? I mean, I love it personally. I mean, I was a college athlete. Granted, I was D2, so who really gives a shit? But no, I mean, I was a college athlete, and go ahead. Have I been in contact with any? Like any? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've had a couple DM me, and yeah, no doubt. Here we go.
Have you been in contact with a athlete recently? Like, have you gave them money?
No. So I have not signed anybody. No, there are no TSUS athletes. No, I haven't. No.
So
Is this a trick question?
It is my question.
Is it a trick question, I said?
No, it is not a trick. It's
Okay.
a true full-blown shit.
No, I haven't. No, the answer is no. No.
So you don't think athletes have been paid before now?
Well, of course they have. Yeah. No, they definitely have. I like the NIL because I think it's silly that if I want to give Luke Doty $100 to sign this helmet, I can't do it. I couldn't do it before. Now, the rest of it gets kind of crazy, but I at least am glad that, like, hey, I can't make a t-shirt with Kevin Harris's face on it and be making buku amounts of dollars, and he's just, eating ramen noodles in the dorm room and getting nothing.
Okay. That's cute. You say that.
Right. But we know he's not. Right. We know he's not.
So, never met Kevin Harris in my life. Let's mention that before we start.
Right.
Say you were having relations with another athlete, right?
Okay.
And they stole
Continue.
money from you, right? And then this comes about. How would you feel?
Well,
I'll wait.
I'd be fighting for a check, I guess.
I'll wait.
I guess I'd be fighting for a check.
Well, I guess you won't get your money back at all. I'm just saying.
Right. I think it's a good place to close, honestly.
I mean, go Gamecocks.
I need 2 weeks to think about this.
I mean, go Gamecocks, but then again, where do you
Yeah.
draw the line between fandom and desperalities?
Yeah, I don't know. Which these business owners that are paying these kids that, man, there's going to be a lot of bad deals on both sides, man. That's why I haven't, and we'll close on this. I know it's 7 o'clock. We'll get off the stage. That's why I haven't done it, because
Hold up, time on the play.
we're already
Time
running
out.
over
I was
time,
an
Haley.
athlete. Time on the play.
All right.
Pause. We'll wait. So, even before then, they didn't even pay for their groceries. How do you feel about that?
I'm not shocked.
I'm just saying, even with Clemson.
Well,
I
yeah, no
know-
kidding.
I know multiple Clemson players, so it's the same with them.
The tea is going to be spilled if we go any longer.
I drank the sweetest tea.
Yes. Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in digitally. Thank you all, Tin Roof. Appreciate y'all. We're going to let Open Mic Night do their thing. We'll pick this up in 2 weeks. How about that?
Probably won't, but
We will.
if you need questions, hit me up.
Cut the mic sound guy. Cut it.